funky, y'all.
What up, what up, what up? Can you guys hear me? What's up, people? Can you guys hear this?
From the horn section, is that alright? Yeah. And that goes a little something like this. Here we go. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Sweet, thanks, Santiago. Should we run it back one more time, guys? One more minute, and then we'll begin. All right, guys, it is time for us to kick this off. Welcome to day 5. Give me 1 second. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Can you guys see this? Hear me good? All right, it's Friday. We made it to Friday. and we are on day 5 of the 12 days of Search Atlas. Of course, you guys already know how this whole thing works. But for those newcomers here, if you haven't been around and you've been under a rock somehow, you will have missed day 1 where we launched a new product. We've been launching new products every single day, and we're going to keep going next week, even through Christmas and Christmas Eve. We have a little bit of fun. We teach some new concepts. I jam on the soundboard. We do a product demo. It's a good time. And best of all, everything that you'll see here today and that you've seen since day 1, you will get to utilize it for free inside your Search Atlas account for no additional cost. Pretty sweet. So before I tell you guys what is in store for today, we're going to quickly review what we've launched this week. Monday was Link Laboratory, the world's largest publisher exchange with over 51,000 websites that you can publish to. Pretty sweet. Wrong sound effect. I'm going to work on that. Tuesday, we launched Universal Alerts, giving you smart AI summaries about your web and local SEO performance. Wednesday, we launched Scholar, which was the first of its kind semantic grader that allows you to evaluate your content and landing pages the same exact way that Google does, according to their PQ, page quality algorithm. And then yesterday, Thursday, we launched Domain Power, which is a fresh take on evaluating website authority that is more highly correlated with rankings than domain authority, domain rating, or site authority. And now today, what will we launch? I think it might actually be in the show title, so you might already know the answer to this. But if you don't, today we will be launching OTTO Crawl Monitoring. Yep, OTTO Crawl Monitoring. A wise man once said, "There's always money in the banana stand. If you know, you know." In my metaphor, the banana stand here is Google and our crawl logs that basically show us the keywords that we're ranking for, or the crawl activity that Google is activating on our website. In those crawl logs, there's so much gold. But the problem with that gold is that it's buried 1,000 feet under the Earth's crust. We got to be able to dig and mine. We have to go and get it. But what if there was a new way that we could do that? That is what OTTO Crawl Monitoring is all about, okay? This time here, we've got Venom, some like Venom-esque robot with, looks like some kind of Tron type of thing going on the goggles. Again, bravo, kudos to our amazing design team for that. OTTO Crawl Monitoring, as you can tell, monitoring, looking inside the data to see what's going on, and always keeping a vigilant eye. So without further elaboration, I think it's time to go to the demo and to the slides so we can understand what is OTTO Crawl Monitoring, how does it work, and most of all, how is it going to help us in our quest for page 1? And not just page 1 of Google, but dominance inside the large language models and GPTs, which are, as we know, SEOs are becoming AEO, but we'll talk about that today. All right. You guys hyped about this? Are you guys excited to see what we created for you, what you guys are going to be able to use? Drop some love in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this so far. Also, what do you guys think about our creatives? Like, what do you think about that robot and his cool sunglasses? Just kind of curious what your take is. And what's your favorite robot, all right? And why? If you give me something really good, you might get some free Hyperdrive credits, all right? So let's jump in. OTTO Crawl Monitoring. Let's explain it. Let's break it down. How does it work? So right now on our websites, we're being crawled by a whole host of different agents that are crawling our site. We've got Google, as we all know, but we've got many other crawlers as well. We've got Perplexity, we've got Common Crawl, we've got Bing, we've got XAI, Amazon's bot, Apple's bot. Do you guys know Apple crawls the internet now too? Yeah. OpenAI, of course, ChatGPT. Then we got Claude, we got Meta, we got Yandex, and there are other crawlers as well. And all these guys are spidering our website. The cool thing about Common Crawl, and I want to double click on that here for a second, is that Common Crawl, they're a non-for-profit. They spider the internet, and then they take their download of all the internet's information and they put it into an Amazon AWS snapshot for other people. If you want that data, you can have it. It's free. It's actually an amazing social good thing. And in a way, it's kind of capturing the world state. It's capturing where humanity is at any given moment in time so that to perpetuity, we will be able to reference that moment and access that data. And it's a really important thing I would like to say about how I believe is the correct ethos for how we as technologists step into the future, is that we share our data and we allow other services, AI agents to be able to access that information so we can build the best possible technological future for our society, both within the US and abroad and overseas. And so as these crawlers are coming and splattering our website, right, what AutoPixel is doing now, and this started in November, what we will do is we take that crawl event, we see who's coming to hit the website, and if it's one of the crawlers that we know and love, we send that information to our crawl activity database and we store it. And then we analyze those crawl metrics to surface up interesting insights. And then most importantly of all, we pass that information into the Auto brain. So Auto knows that there's a crawling event happening. And the cool thing is this goes beyond just Auto. This also can go into Google Search Console. In our GSC Performance Product Insight Search Atlas, we can now see the correlation between things that we've done to our website, and not just performance, but also crawl activity. The other beautiful thing about this is it doesn't slow the site down at all. It is a transparent layer that shoots off a request to the crawl activity database, doesn't wait to see what happens, it just ignores the response and allows the crawler to index the page. So, super powerful framework. We're the first people to develop this. No one ever thought about doing this. And what we realize is as we step into the future of AEO, understanding what's happening with these crawlers is so vital. So first, maybe someone's thinking this, they're thinking, maybe we could explain the crawling process like I'm 5. Not to say that you're a baby, but sometimes things can get a little complicated and we like to make things simple. So let's try to break down the crawling process really quick so that we're all on the same page about what's happening with Google. The first thing the crawlers do is they crawl web pages, right? They're spidering them, and I'll show you the order in which they typically do that on the internet. But they crawl sites, then they take that information, they snapshot it, and they analyze it. They render that content. And then that content goes through a series of algorithms that evaluate it. These are the ranking algorithms, and that data is stored inside the index. So once it's in the index, it's been rendered, and the content has been analyzed. It passes that to the ranking system, and the ranking system then surfaces that information in response to the queries, okay? So that's how it works. That's all it is. That's how crawling works. And obviously, if you don't get your pages crawled, this is an important point, you will never be found. You can't be seen for a query. So crawling is vital. The internet is massive. It's got over 367 million domains and climbing. And there are over 130 trillion pages in Google's index. Every day, they're crawling and indexing 20 billion pages. And it's not just Google, it's all of these other crawlers that are indexing the internet as well. And typically, this is an illustration of a website. By the way, this is our site auditor's site visualization tool. This is the depth-first analysis in a vertical hierarchical way, where our homepage is right here at the top. And then here we're going depth-first, one depth at a time, deeper and deeper into the website. And typically, crawlers follow the page rank, and so they start at the home page, and then they go 1 layer in, and then 2 layers in, and 3 layers in. And typically, we see most of the crawl activity takes place at the top of this, and it gets weaker as we go down. And page rank, this is another illustration you can find inside the Site Auditor and Search Atlas and the Site Visualizations tool. If you click on, I believe it's like the node, the 3D node version. And what this allows us to see is the page rank distribution of the website, and you'll see it's brightest in the center and it gets dimmer and smaller, the dots, as we go out. And so when we think about crawling, and we really want to push the page rank to the pages we want Google to crawl, although it's hard to know what they're crawling, right? It's hard to know. We'll talk about why it's hard in just a second. First, let's cover something that I call the SEO Ranking Lifecycle, all right? The SEO Ranking Lifecycle. So the whole part of this lifecycle, step 1, we see Google improve our keyword rankings, right? Our keywords will move our rankings up for something. And then once our rankings go up, that page will get more impressions. It'll be seen more by people that are searching. And so we see a spike in GSC in our impressions. In response, the rankings move up. And then from there, we see the page is actually getting more clicks. It gets more traffic. We also see that in GSC, but we'll also now see that data in Google Analytics as well. And then finally, our website will drive more conversions. We see more sales take place on the website, okay? Oh shit, wait a minute though. I forgot something. There's actually another step. There is another step. No one has ever talked about this. The first step is actually that we see crawl activity increase. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. So the first thing that we actually will want to look for now is in response to what we're doing on our website, the content we're publishing, the links that we're building, the citations we're building, the optimizations that are taking place, we want to see our crawl activity because we know that crawl activity is a precursor to everything else. It is a leading indicator of SEO success. But like I kind of alluded to yesterday, the reason that no one is talking about this is because measuring it is a bitch, an absolute bitch. So previously, how did we track it? How did we track the crawl activity? Well, it was Logfile Analysis. We'd have to go and find this log file. How many of you guys have done this before? Maybe as a theoretical exercise, maybe you needed to do it for like an e-commerce client to see which pages were being crawled, maybe which pages were 301, 302 redirecting, maybe what URLs were 404ing. Curious how many of you guys have actually taken the dive to do log file analysis, because if you know, you know. It's not a lot of fun. And definitely one of the problems is that it's really manual to get these files. You got to get them from the server. It's not enterprise friendly. Like, good luck asking a team at any one of these companies, especially if they're restricted with their data, to get you one of these files. They're not going to want to do it because some of them are afraid that maybe it has compromising information or some kind of leak will be there. But getting your paws on it is not fun. The other thing that's not fun about it is it's not real time. So you run the analysis, and then all the data that took place since you grabbed that log file is not going to be in your data set. So if you want to know what happened today, well, you got to go pull yourself a new log file. And then if you want to know what happened tomorrow, you got to pull yourself another new log file. And then you get these log files. And let me tell you, there's not a lot of automation. It requires manual analysis. And maybe you got to do that in Tableau. Or maybe you got to pay extra to SEMrush, or you got to pay Screaming Frog extra for the log file analyzer. And again, the whole thing, it's not a great time. The other thing that we used to do is we look at this GSC Crawl Stats report, which is kind of buried a little bit inside the GSC tool. It's got a 5-day delay, so you can't see any of the real-time data. It's only looking at Google's own data, so you can only really see their crawler. But of course, just like Google always does, they don't give us the full picture. They're missing data. They're not going to show us the load time. How long does it take for the users to load these certain pages, which is actually very valuable information that we would like to know, because we know that they're capturing that in Crux, the Chrome User Experience Report. So we know that they're looking at our site's responsiveness and how long it takes for real users, Chrome users, to load these pages. So the crawler actually has a lot of data that they're not sharing with us. And one thing that's also unfortunate is that if we wanted to get the data and use it in auto to do some sort of smart analysis to help us guide our campaigns, the data is not available via API. And even the data you can get out of here is limited, as always. And so here's what's new. OTTO Crawl Monitoring. It is a real-time solution, real-time, up-to-the-second data. It is universal. It is universal to all crawlers. It analyzes every crawling agent out there, so that even in the future, if there's a new crawler, we don't need to do a new integration because that crawler is coming to crawl our website. So it's universal, and we don't ever have to use any other tools for this. We can just study this report and we can get our insights. The third thing that's great about it is it's completely automated. So you don't have to do anything. It's set up for you. It's in the platform, and it's easy. It's easy to read it and understand what's going on. And one of the best things about it all is it is free for all existing customers. as a part of our holiday spirit, right? We're giving you guys all these new products and features for free, no additional cost, okay? So you get that data. So let's actually check out the live demo. Let's look at the product, okay? So how do we get there? The first thing you're gonna do, you'll click on Site Audit, right, to get into the Site Auditor, and then you click on Crawl Monitoring. And this is where right now you're gonna be able to see the data. We will be adding it also as a button into Auto. That'll be coming in the next couple days. We just forgot to do it, and the team will be adding it very soon. So in here, we'll be able to see all the crawl stats. We can look at the daily crawl stats and see how the crawling activity has changed over time. So you can see there was a nice big spike in the beginning of December, probably in relation to some of the press release hits that we got. We got some very high authority backlinks. And also we drove a lot of traffic to the website in some of our campaigns. And so you can see that that contributed to a spike in our traffic or in our crawling activity from Google and Google Mobile, as well as from Bing, which is pretty cool. We can also see what percentage of the site has been indexed over this date horizon. So just a note here, don't be alarmed if it says most of the site has not been crawled. If you just installed Auto, it takes time for it to collect the data on indexation. If you have Auto installed on the website for a long time, this is going to be a very accurate reading on what percentage of the site has been crawled and not crawled. And we know how many pages you have because you've crawled them inside Search Atlas. We've already indexed your whole site and we know all the pages, and so we're now able to tell you better than actually Google Search Console can what pages that you crawled that you've told us are important inside here are actually being indexed by the crawler. And then the next question is the crawl activity, what percentage of it is fresh, where they're discovering new pages, and then what percentage of it is a refresh, where they're coming back for the old stuff, all right? And then on the right, we have the device type. Are we seeing crawl activity in relation to desktop? Because remember, when these bots come and they crawl our site, what they're doing is they're viewing the page in a certain aspect ratio, right, with a certain resolution. And so if it's a mobile user agent, they're crawling it with a mobile aspect ratio to get a mobile version of the site. The crawlers that are for desktop come in with a wider aspect ratio, right? 1600 by 1200, probably something like that for desktop. And then for mobile, it's a totally different viewport. And so this is interesting for us to know what amount of the crawling activity that's taking place is actually studying our website from the mobile lens versus the desktop lens. If at this point, no one's convinced you to optimize the mobile version of your website, well, I don't know why that would be, but make sure you optimize the mobile version as well, because we know that they care about it. We'll be talking a little bit more about some of the tips and strategies around mobile. In particular, one thing that I see people do and they do wrong is on mobile, they often have all the links inside their nav also visible on mobile. It's actually not a great move. It's better to hide a lot of that information on mobile to keep the mobile templates faster. I digress a little bit. I'm just trying to give you guys some tips as we work through this. And then we see stats on crawl frequency over the last 7 days and over the last 30 days, what percentage of the crawl behavior took place in those windows. And then we get to see the latest hits, the latest crawl activity. And I can change the bot that I'm studying here from Google to Google Mobile to Bing to Yandex. And those other large language model user agents, those are going to be in here as well. And so you can see what's actually happening. So you can see the last crawl behavior here was December 18th. They crawled one of our videos on how to use the Right with AI workflow in Search Atlas. They crawled the content audit tool. You can see they hit the page twice. And then, of course, you're going to see how they hit the home page. So this is really interesting. Like, it shows you that even though Google knows our home page and they've indexed it all these times, they're always re-spidering it because they're waiting. Hey, did Link Graph add a new page? Hey, is there something new on the Link Graph website? They're constantly hitting that page because they want to know up to the minute if there are any changes that they should be aware of for our homepage, which is also powerful because we can use the homepage knowing that they index the page the most frequently to embed links to new pages, as well as, of course, include our high quality nodes. So homepage can be used to improve indexation of high value content. If you're adding a lot of new blog posts, of course, you should be seeing them on here. If you're seeing your new blog posts not being indexed in this list, that could be a sign that that there's a problem with the way you're passing your page rank, okay? So that's looking at the crawl monitoring for LinkGraph, which is our enterprise agency. Let's look at Search Atlas. You can also see similar types of data for the Search Atlas website. And so again, guys, this is a universal solution. You can use this for local SEO websites. You can use this for national SEO websites. You can use this for e-commerce brands. You can use this for anybody and anything. And think about the superpowers that this is unlocking for you, right? You get to take your SEO agency and do crawl analysis, which is something that only what I've seen offered by enterprise level SEOs. Right? We're democratizing this kind of technology so it's accessible and it's easy and it's fun. What do you guys think so far? Are you guys into this? You guys like this? Aletha, I'm going to pop into the comments. Aletha says she's done 15 installations so far. And with just the 30-day SOP, she's seeing massive traffic increases. Fuck yeah.
To infinity
and beyond. Love it. Love it. And even for the contractor clients who are typically down in winter, I just love to hear that. I'm so happy about that. That's amazing. Congratulations, Aletha. I'm sure you've made those contractors their Christmas and their holiday season even more special. OC Website Pro says right behind you with about 10 installations, and every client is seeing improvements. Love to see that. Love to hear it. And beyond. Awesome. Aletha also says auto makes SEO fun again. Way less drudgery. You know, that is the best compliment that I've ever received, is that we're making SEO fun again. And honestly, it's making it fun for me again. I've been doing this for over a decade, and taking something that I've known and loved for so many years and bringing new life to it is one of the reasons that I'm here and I'm doing this, is that it really is a good time now. OC Website Pro says, this is insane, live crawl data. He's shocked. Love it. Greg Adams says, yay. He's into it. V12 with a nice muscle emoji. Love to see it. And then a couple people going down memory lane, remembering the old days when we were analyzing this stuff by hand in a painful manual way. And guys, love to see all this. Love to see all the nice comments and you guys reflecting on, the way that we've used to do this and the way that it is today. I see Jonathan's giving me some props for the studio effects. Love to see that as well. Greg saying, I am a baby. No, you're not, Greg. You're awesome, dude. You're awesome. You're the man. All right. Let us continue, my friends. Let's continue. Let's keep going, all right? So let's talk a little bit more about the LLMs and how we're tracking LLM indexing with auto real-time crawl activity. So I asked the team yesterday, I said, guys, how many hits do we have so far in this crawler database? And mostly I asked them these questions because I want to make sure everything is working properly. Back of the envelope, I expected, about maybe 5 to 10 million hits in that database. They told me the answer was more like 40 million. So that's good. So we've got over 40 million data samples collected so far in the short time that this feature has been enabled. We've got about over 10,000 sites running on auto right now. And some of those sites are huge sites, and some like really big sites like Hyundai India is on there. We've got some of the companies we work with in the SEO space, guys like the Hoth, they're using it as well. We've got Boostability. We've got a bunch of big SEO names. We've also got some big brands like NameSilo. They're using the technology. And so anyways, we're collecting all this data from their sites on the crawl events that are taking place. And what we're learning is we're seeing which crawlers are the most aggressive, which ones are indexing the internet the most and finding this content. And what we're finding is we're finding all these interesting user agents. We've seen GPT bot and ChatGPT, the user, like if there's a user initiating a crawl for a page. We're seeing the OpenAI search bot, Claude bot, Common Crawl bot, Perplexity bot, Apple bot, Facebook bot, Meta bot, Amazon bot, other bots as well. And so there are so many people now looking to ingest the internet's data so that they can feed it into their large language models. And I can tell you, in a year from now, there will be probably twice as many user agents. Some of these user agents will be less important than they are today. There may be new ones that become very important, like XAI. And so in relation to the change in how visible the data is inside those GPTs, we will want to be making sure that we're visible and that we're promoting visibility to those GPTs. And so this is pushing the SEO game beyond just Google as these GPTs become more visible. We're moving from SEO to AEO, search engine optimization to answer engine optimization. Let's look at some stats about ChatGPT and see, is the game starting to shift? You guys tell me if you think the game is shifting or not. They've got over 200 million weekly active users worldwide. ChatGPT accounts for about 70% of the market share of subscriptions on AI tools, which is a lot. As of February, so that's way earlier in this year, it's the latest data point we have here, 23% of US adults have used ChatGPT, and by now it's certainly much higher. So that's interesting. It's actually a lot of growth and adoption. And if you ever look at the adoption waves, you always have the early adopters, and then they give way to like the later adopters. And then finally, like you see the crescendo, the adoption cycle. We're in the early innings of the adoption cycle. If we wait to think about these large language models and these GPTs as important players in search visibility, we will be behind the curve. And sometimes, guys, if you remember the early days of Google Ads, if you were one of the first people to Google Ads in those early days, you got some awesomely cheap CPCs. If you were early to Google as a search engine and you were one of the first SEOs, you probably made millions and millions of dollars because you got a chance to master the game before the rules had really been written and everyone else stepped in. So there is a great advantage to being a first mover. Here we can see interest in ChatGPT over time. And when we look at it versus Google, this honestly is kind of scary. Look at how much closer the activity and interest over time has become versus Google's search engine, right? That is a lot of growth. And in the next year, there are some big things that are coming. And obviously at the end of the year, there's always a slump, right? As people go away for the holidays, right? Less people are using these tools. They're kind of, focused on their families at home like they should be. But I expect next year, as we see OpenAI and their integrations with Apple and other third parties fully materialize, we're going to see actually a boom. And I would say that this blue line underrepresents the true market share of ChatGPT because of the integrations. You're using ChatGPT in other solutions and systems inside Apple, and that's not going to capture ChatGPT and the usage of it as much as it is actually being used. So I would say these numbers are conservative in favor of ChatGPT. And so now that SEO includes these GPTs, there's some important questions that we must ask. The first is, how do we track visibility in large language models? And then how do we increase it? Number two, how do we get them to index us in the first place, right? How do we promote the indexation? And three, is there a way that we can push our information into the LLMs reliably? So you guys know, like, you can't simply force a Google crawl. I mean, actually, technically you can in some ways if you're using an indexer and you know what you're doing, but you can't really do this en masse for all user agents, or can you? Maybe there is a way. So there's going to be some new stuff coming soon. We'll be sharing with you guys the answer to this question. That's going to be revealed in one of the next 12 days of Search Atlas, where we'll be announcing more. But before we wind up and wrap up, I've got a few other small announcements I'd like to make. The first is that during the holiday season, I think one of the things that's important is to slow down and reapproach the bigger picture of what's important. And obviously, family is a big part of that, and not just family, but our community and the way that we give back. And so as a part of our ethos, we've always been really focused on creating a good world to live in. And so I'm happy to announce that we're donating to a few awesome charities like these two. This one, the Malaria Consortium. If you guys I don't know if you guys know this, but anti-malarial bed nets are one of the most impactful ways to reduce suffering in the world. They're super cheap, just for a couple, $2, $3, $4. You can have a anti-malarial bed net to give to someone in Africa who will then not get malaria and have a significantly higher quality of life. And so one of the most impactful ways that we can have a positive impact on the world in ending suffering or reducing it. The other thing that we donated to is the SEO, which way? That way? The SEO charity. They are doing some really important work in Ukraine, housing animals that have been abandoned by the humanitarian crisis there in the war. And so what they're doing is they're helping find homes for dogs and cats who have been abandoned and are needing refuge. And so we've donated to that charity as well. And then finally, we've also donated to the Cyber Smile Foundation. They're a charity that is, hold up, let's get them here. Boom. No, sorry, not that one. The Cyber Smile Foundation, you guys can look them up, but they're doing a lot around cyberbullying and just promoting a more healthy online environment for all of us to work in and to be a part of. So guys, that is a wrap for here. I'm just going to pop back into the comments and see what else you guys have any questions on. Greg Adams, love you too, bro. Love you too, man. Great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us. Makes it so much fun for you guys. To be here brings me so much energy, makes this a lot more fun, and appreciate all the engagement today, guys. It's been awesome. V12 is asking for the 30-day SOP. V12 and Fidon, could we post that in the Search Atlas SEO Theory Facebook group? We'll pop that back in there. It's a really great SOP. Actually, give me just a second. I'll pop that in here for you. All right, here it is. So I'm going to drop that into the chat. That is the Auto 30-day SOP. It is really, really good, and we keep it up to date. Just a heads up that Armand and I are working on a full-on course and training set of exactly how to do everything in Search Atlas, A, B, C, D. Each video is focused on one module at a time, one component, and there are over 30 videos we've recorded so far. They're very specific. They're going to come with tutorials and explanation, and we will be taking all of that and rolling it into a free course on Udemy, so you guys will be able to read it, access it, give it to your team at no cost. And we'll also be building, after that, another course that also teaches some of the advanced SEO concepts that you guys see us explore in these live streams, as well as in our weekly webinars or bi-weekly webinars. So be sure to check that out, and I'll let you guys know when that's ready and available. Aletha says, keep it up as a tab at all times. It's like a Bible of SEO. I love that. We keep pouring into it, and as you guys know, as we build new things, we will keep that SOP fresh. And so if there's anything you need to do that's best practice as a part of Auto, as it keeps evolving, we'll let you know. We are also preparing for our first PPC automation platform. That will also be added into the SOP once it is available for everyone's consumption and use. Christy says, slows down how much extra weight those higher numbers get so they don't dominate the score too much. Which higher numbers? I'm not sure. All right, guys. Awesome. Well, this has been super fun. Christy says she can't wait for the course. Yeah, I'm super excited to give it to you guys too. I think just giving it to your teams is going to make them getting up to speed so much faster. If you've got contractors in different time zones, and obviously we're all busy, giving them the time to train them and walk them through the system. Obviously, you guys know it takes so much effort. And so I'm hoping that we can just centralize that for everyone and make it easy and give them a kind of Magna Carta they can keep referring to over and over as we kind of keep evolving and improving on it. So, guys, it has been so much fun. We've really had an awesome week. This is the end of the 5th day of Search Atlas. Monday, we will commence with day number 6 with some new sizzle and some new heat. So please join us back here on Monday. I will see you guys very soon. If you guys have any questions, we'll be in the Facebook community after this. I'll be checking up on any questions people have there, responding to some threads. And once again, guys, thank you so much. Have an amazing Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Be blessed and spend some time with your families and loved ones. And I will see you guys back on Monday.
Little tune to play, make the good times roll. No, I ain't got nothing but a funky, y'all.